Basically, I make note about players and games, and then tells me what we need to develop in the future, what need to fix, basically. So ask after, and when I get feedback from Nick, I'm gonna enforce to players what we need to fix or what we need to do. Basically, is what I do in role. Like a grinding champs or some solo queue, duo queue on some strategy stuff, what we discussed before. Like, cause we have team stuff meeting with JJ and me and Nick, so.
Yeah, so for the most part, with Nick working from Korea, we're kind of the eyes and ears around the house. So, you know, what Cella is talking about is, with Nick, there are very specific things that he wants to do in terms of structure, in terms of expectation for what we're practicing and what we're playing in individual practice and in team practice, and we're the ones that kind of enforce that. You know, Nick's one of the best coaches in the entire world, and he has a very unique perspective on the game, and it's very important that we do things in line and we structure players' days and players' practice in line with his expectations. So for the most part, on a daily basis, that's what we're trying to do. It's kind of a challenge for this split compared to past splits because practice, as some players have noted, starts earlier. So every day, basically, we're scrimming at 10 a.m. So for us, that means getting the players up around 8:30. It might seem a little bit early, but the big thing for us is making sure that players have enough time to eat, to shower, to warm up how they want to, because we want, as soon as scrims start, for players to be both physically and mentally awake. So once 10 a.m. hits, we scrim for 6 hours or so with a little break in between. The day doesn't end there, though. Players are usually pretty tired, so we break for food for a little bit. But depending upon the day of the week, we'll have different kinds of review meetings. We'll either watch our own competitive matches or our opponents' matches. We'll have communication meetings and go over the comms from past games or practices, different sticking points that we've had in practice. We also have a lot of just transparency meetings where if there's any issues or anything going on, we make sure that we talk through them as a team because we really want this to be an open family atmosphere where everyone's comfortable bringing up any issues they have, any concerns with practice or outside the game as well. So that goes until kind of the late evening, 9-10 p.m. or so, and players are usually doing structured practice together in tandems and duo queue, as well as grinding new champions in solo queue as well.
For me, it's like mostly try to learn about macro games, because Ning is kind of insane and it has a crazy level of knowledge about League of Legends. So of course I can be like him, but at least I want to reach his level as much as I can.
So I think for both splits it's been kind of the same. So for me, the greatest challenge and the greatest opportunity, I think for myself and I think for the staff as a whole, is to be constantly trying to keep our players focused and keep our players making the best possible decisions that they can, moment by moment, in and out of the game. So we are blessed to have, like I've said before, one of the most talented strategic coaches in the world, and he makes sure that within the game the players are focusing on making the best decisions. For myself, for Cella, for the staff that's in-house here, we have to focus outside the game. The one thing that great players in every sport have in common is that they nail their fundamentals all the time. The fundamentals never waver. They make the little decisions right every single time. And that applies to more than just laning or team fighting in League of Legends. It applies to how we speak to each other in game. It applies to our nutrition choices, to our sleep hygiene, to the way that we treat each other. And so it's been a challenge and also an opportunity for me to kind of focus on that and trying to make that a constant pursuit, making the best decisions that we can, always. You know, we have a very eclectic team. We're from a lot of different places. We have players from NA, we have players from EU, we have players from Korea. We have a staff that's eclectic as well. And the one thing that everyone has in common on this team is they truly do have the potential to be great. I mean, this is a team that was handpicked by LS. We made some pretty drastic changes coming into the summer split, but we as a staff are incredibly high on everyone's potential. And like Cella mentions, the real glue here is how we communicate and how we treat each other. And focusing on that, if we can smooth out all of those bumps, we think that we'll get where we need to be, and we'll punch through to LCS this season.